Hello Shutter lovers. Today we will explain a brilliant supernatural body horror movie called Together. The movie starts in a forest, where many people are searching for Carrie and Simon. In their search team, there are also two dogs who are also searching for them. While searching randomly, both dogs enter a cave where they see a lot of water. Because they had been searching for a long time, they were tired, and because of thirst they drank the water there. As soon as they drink the water, their bodies start attracting towards each other, and in a short while both bodies merge together to form one new body. This was very strange, and the scene ends here. Next we see a boy named Tim and a girl named Millie. They have been living together like a couple for a long time, but they are not married. Tim's dream is to become a famous rock star, and while chasing this dream he has reached the age of 35, but currently he has no good source of income. Millie is a school teacher. She is well settled and has a good income. Today they have arranged a party at home. The reason for this party is that they are moving from their hometown to the countryside. There are specific reasons for this move. One reason is that Millie got a job at an elementary school there, but she already had a job in her town too. Another reason is that some time ago, Tim's parents passed away, and since then, Tim became emotionally and physically distant from Millie because he stayed sad most of the time. That is why Millie decided to move to the countryside so she could get back the love from Tim that she used to have before. This was their farewell party in which many guests were invited. In front of everyone, Millie proposed to Tim, but Tim did not respond immediately, as if he wanted something else. However, he accepted her proposal, but with hesitation. Everyone was clapping, but for Millie, this moment was quite embarrassing. After the party ended, at night Tim saw a strange and terrifying looking lady in a nightmare, but he just considered it a dream and ignored it. The secret behind this nightmare will be revealed later. The next day, both of them were going to move to the countryside, and they took a house near a forest. Friends, let me tell you, this was the same forest we saw at the start of the movie, where a team was searching for Simon and Carrie, and the bodies of those two dogs had fused into one. After entering the house, when Tim went to his room, he felt a very bad smell. After searching for a while, he found two rats in the false ceiling of his room. These rats were already dead, and their bodies were strangely fused together, just like those two dogs. Tim took them out and threw them away. The next day, Millie went to her new school. It was her first day at the elementary school. There, Millie randomly became friends with her senior colleague named Jamie, because Jamie's house was also in the same area where Millie's new house was, near the forest. Millie asked her senior teacher if there was a nice place nearby for entertainment or an outing. Jamie told her that there were many good spots for trekking. Millie was asking this because she wanted to take Tim with her so that they could enjoy some time together, and maybe it would reduce Tim's stress and sadness. So, on the weekend, they both went trekking. But due to a heavy rainstorm, they got stuck there. Because they were new to the area, they got lost. They were wandering around when suddenly Tim fell into a cave. Millie was trying hard to pull him out, but in the process she also fell into the same cave. The storm was not affecting this place, so they decided they would stay there until it stopped. Inside the cave they saw a bell, and they had also seen similar bells at their trekking spot earlier. In the cave, the structure and environment made it seem like a tribe once lived there. While the two of them were resting, they felt thirsty and noticed a small water pond. They both drank from it, but friends, this was the same water that the two dogs had drunk earlier. Sitting together, they started talking, and from this conversation we learned about Tim's strange history. The scene shifts to Tim's past. We see Tim's father entering his room and noticing a strange bad smell. He asked Tim about it, but Tim had no idea. They started searching to find the source of the smell, and eventually, Tim's father found a dead rat. He picked it up and threw it outside. This small moment showed that Tim and his father were really close to each other. But recently, after Tim's father passed away, Tim's mother suffered a nervous breakdown. She could not accept his death at all. The shocking thing was that she had been talking to his dead body, living with it, and even sleeping beside it for many days, because she still couldn't accept that he was gone. When Tim returned home after many days, he found his father's body in the house, giving off a terrible smell, and already starting to decompose. His mother smiled as she greeted him, completely in denial. This incident was deeply traumatic for Tim. He arranged his father's funeral, and tried to make his mother realize that her husband had passed away. But she couldn't handle the grief, and also passed away soon after. This left Tim mentally unstable, and deeply depressed. And remember that terrifying woman from Tim's earlier nightmare? That was actually his mother. The scene then shifts back to the present present in the cave, where Tim and Millie were still talking. Eventually they fell asleep there. But while they were sleeping, something strange was happening. It felt as if everything in the cave was breathing along with Tim's every breath. They didn't notice it. In the morning, when they tried to get up, they were shocked to see that one of their feet had fused together. At first, they thought it might be some kind of adhesive gum in the cave that had stuck their feet together. They tried hard to separate them, but it was extremely difficult. After a long struggle, they finally managed to separate their feet, but the skin was badly damaged. After this, they left the cave and returned home. When they got home, Millie was getting ready to go to school, and Tim was looking at her in a strange way, as if he was feeling physically attracted to her. Because they had not been intimate for a long time, Millie found this behavior very unusual. She decided to ignore it and left for school. Meanwhile, Tim was in the shower, and suddenly he went into a strange condition, as if he had lost control of his brain. Let me explain more. While Millie was moving in her car, Tim was making the same movements in the shower. For example, when the car turned, Tim's body also turned in the same direction in the shower. It was as if they were mentally connected. After some time, their connection broke, and Tim came back to his senses. He was worried about this condition, so he decided to visit a doctor. The doctor told him that it might have been an anxiety or depression attack. The doctor asked him for more details about his past and present, so Tim explained briefly about his past, told him that they had recently moved here, and also mentioned the cave incident from last night. Hearing this, the doctor told him that at the same trekking spots, another couple named Simon and Carrie had also gone, and they had been missing ever since. Tim returned home and searched for more details about the couple on different social media platforms and other sources. He found out that this couple had also gone to the same cave. Friends, this was the same couple that we saw being searched for at the start of the movie. But until now, no one knew where they had gone or what had happened to them. Tim saved their profiles for himself. At night, we see that Jamie came to their house for dinner. They were all eating happily at the dining table, but then Jamie started asking about their personal life. Millie told her that Tim didn't have a job and was free most of the time, and that he didn't even know how to drive. Tim didn't like the way Millie was talking about him, so he let out his frustration, saying that Millie made all the decisions in their life and insisted on everything, as if she had trapped him. These words made the dinner environment a bit uncomfortable, so they changed the topic and started talking about the trekking plan for the weekend. Tim told Jamie about the cave and how they got stuck there. Jamie then told them that there used to be a church in that area, and members of a cult lived there, all religiously connected. But over time, the number of cult members started decreasing, and one day the church was badly damaged by a natural disaster. Since then, the cave had become a no-going area. After dinner, they both saw Jamie off and returned home. Tim once again started feeling physically attracted to Millie and began kissing her. But as soon as they tried to pull away from each other, their lips had stuck together, causing Millie a lot of pain. She got angry at Tim, telling him that for a long time he had not been intimate with her, and whenever he tried, he just stopped after doing something like this. Upset, she went to bed to sleep. While sleeping, Millie felt something strange, like someone was pulling her hair toward themselves. When she opened her eyes, she saw Tim chewing on her hair and pulling it toward him. Millie quickly got up, woke Tim, and asked why he was eating her hair. But Tim had no idea what she was talking about. He told her he had been sleeping and didn't do anything, and if something like that happened, he didn't know about it. They were both shocked. After some time, they lay back in bed again. The next morning they got ready because Tim had to go out of the city to perform at a music concert. Millie dropped him at the train station but didn't go with him because she had to go to her school for teaching. She hugged him goodbye and left for work. But Tim once again slipped into that strange trance-like state, losing control over himself. He felt an intense attraction toward Millie, so much so that he skipped his train and couldn't make it to his concert. Instead, he immediately went to Millie's school. Millie was surprised to see him there and asked why he didn't go to his concert. She took him to the students' toilet area to talk privately. But there, without explaining anything, Tim started being romantic with her. Millie didn't resist and became intimate with him. However, after a while they realized that their bodies had completely stuck together very strongly. They tried hard to separate but couldn't. Then, one student saw them and went to tell the senior teacher, Jamie. Luckily, before Jamie arrived, they managed to separate themselves. When Jamie entered, he asked Millie what she was doing in the students' toilet. She said she was there to check on some students. Earlier, she had already hidden Tim in the toilet. While leaving, Jamie told Millie to avoid coming to the students' toilet next time. But from the students' words and Millie's expressions, Jamie suspected that Tim had been there with her. After that, Millie got very angry at Tim, telling him that the situation was extremely awkward and that she could have lost her teaching job because of this. If she lost the job, they wouldn't have any other source of income. She told him clearly never to do something like this again. That night, Millie went to Jamie's house to apologize for what happened earlier, but Jamie wasn't overly annoyed. He told her there was no need to be too worried, just relax and stay calm. Then Millie started sharing her personal life with Jamie, telling him how her relationship with Tim had started and how badly it had worsened now. Hearing this, Jamie tells Millie the beginning history of humans, that in the past, humans had 2 heads, 4 legs and 4 hands, which made them very powerful. But Zeus was not very happy with this power of humans, so he divided humans into 2 parts, meaning 1 head, 2 legs and 2 hands. But humans always kept searching for their second part, which might be their soulmate. And I think your soulmate is Tim, that's why there is so much attraction between you two. Jamie tells her that he also had a soulmate, but now she is no more. Then Millie finds out that Tim is standing outside Jamie's house. Millie immediately goes outside and again gets angry at him, but Tim wants to explain something to her, that all of this has been happening since they spent the night in that cave. But Millie does not believe Tim, and they both go home. At home, Tim once again starts doing further research on that couple, Simon and Carrie. But suddenly, he notices that Millie was unnaturally coming toward him, as if some magical powers were attracting her to Tim. But Tim understands her situation, and slaps her once to bring her back to her senses, which makes her normal again. Now Millie was also shocked at how this all happened, but she was still doubtful. Then they decide that tonight, they will sleep in different rooms. But as soon as they sleep, they automatically get up and start moving toward each other. They try every possible way to keep themselves away from each other, but can't do much. Then one of their hands meets, and both hands start fusing together into one hand. Then Tim suddenly remembers and brings his muscle relaxation tablets. They both take the tablets, which stops the fusion, and then they sleep. But as soon as Tim wakes up, he sees Millie about to cut their skin with a hacksaw, cutting their hands. It was causing them a lot of pain, but they had no other option. And they also realized that right now, the fusion had stopped only because of the muscle relaxation tablets, but as soon as the effect wore off, the fusion would start again. So they decide to go to a doctor. After searching a lot, Millie remembers that the car key was left at Jamie's house, so she tells Tim to stay there and decides to go to Jamie's house herself. But as soon as Millie leaves to go to Jamie's house, Tim heads toward that cave because he wanted to know the secret superpower of that cave. As soon as he reaches the cave, he sees the same couple there, and they were merged into each other in a very bad condition. They were looking very terrifying, and Tim was badly shocked to see them like this. Tim was now very scared, and immediately ran away from there. After seeing all this, we also understand the story of that couple, how they came into this cave, then drank some water from that same pond, and after that, their bodies became one. Now the scene shifts to Millie, who had come to Jimmy's house to get the car key. But surprisingly, today she saw the same bell hanging at Jimmy's house. Jimmy was not visible in the house, but there was a movie playing on a TV. In that movie, 2 people were having a wedding ceremony. After this ceremony, they went into a cave and drank some water from a pond. After drinking, they held each other's hands, and in just a short time, their bodies started merging together, forming one new body from both. And when Millie saw this newly formed person, it was none other than Jimmy. Then Jimmy came there. Now Millie was scared of Jimmy, but Jimmy behaved normally as usual. He told Millie that after this merging, he was feeling much better, and he also suggested to Millie that she should also do a proper diffusion with Tim. But Millie did not agree with him. Then Jimmy forcefully made a cut on Millie's hand with a ring, but Millie immediately ran away from there. Later, when she met Tim, Tim told her everything he had seen in the cave earlier, meaning that incomplete diffused creature, which had happened because of Simon and Carrie's resistance. Now Millie completely understood the situation. Tim, trying to convince Millie, told her that he didn't want to give her a painful life like Simon and Carrie, and that's why he had decided to end his own life so that she could escape this diffusion. Because of the cut on her hand, Millie had lost a lot of blood, and she fell unconscious. But when she woke up, she realized that one of her hands was patched with one of Tim's hands, through which blood had been supplied to her, bringing her back to consciousness. Then they both decided to go for the fusion, because they had no better option. We then see them dancing together while diffusing into one body, and at that moment, Millie's favorite song was playing. Now their bodies were merging very smoothly and perfectly. 2 faces becoming 1 new face, 4 eyes becoming 2 new eyes, 4 legs becoming 2 new legs, and 4 hands becoming 2 new hands. Every part of the body was being generated smoothly and perfectly. Then the movie shifts to the next scene, where we see Millie's parents coming to their house. Here too, there was a bell hanging. After knocking, when the door opened, in front of them stood an entirely changed entity, a completely transformed and reshaped person who was totally strange and unknown to these parents. And right there the film ends. And that, my friends, was the complete breakdown of Together, a strange, beautiful, and chilling ride through love, loss, and the body horror you'll never forget. If you enjoyed diving into this twisted tale, hit that like button so YouTube knows you're into stories that mess with your mind. And if you're new here, subscribe now, because the next movie we're covering will make this one look like a bedtime story. See you in the next video. Until then, stay mysteriously.